Same old shit, just a different day. I'm clocking in and clocking out to keep the bills paid. At this 9 to 5, temporarily. If you not trying to live your dream, we are not the same. Same old shit, just
Greetings, Redheads. Thank you for joining me in another episode of Res View. That's your favorite show, my favorite show, everybody's favorite show. Anyway, we have a special guest right here. This is my frat brother, y'all, so y'all got to give a warm Res View welcome to Mr. Ryan James. Nope.
I appreciate the invite, man.
Definitely. So for those who don't know you, explain to them what you are.
Man, I'm an actor. I also dabble and PR and production, man. I do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, definitely. So I got to know you from your acting career and your BET experience and all that other stuff beforehand. So how did you get into acting all the way?
Man, so acting has always been something that I was interested in. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. Coming from Memphis, we kind of shied away from it. We didn't think it was a tangible dream we could have.
Right.
Got to college, I majored in mass communications, electronic media production, so I kind of took the production route. It's also one of my passions as well. I like, the behind the scenes aspect as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of shied away from acting, didn't know if I could do it. And I randomly got an email out of nowhere my senior year of college.
Right.
And it was requesting Greek steppers for a commercial in Atlanta, Georgia.
Bet.
And at the time, I was a stepper, so I really wasn't scared of that part, but I hadn't done anything on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have a headshot, so I cropped the Facebook picture, submitted that, and they liked our look. They asked us to come down and audition. Man, lo and behold, we booked the commercial, and they reached back out to me like, we like your look, we want you to do the print ad as well. Man, booked the print ad and the commercial back to back, and that was my first thing I did on TV.
Yeah. So that was big, man.
Yeah, man.
So it was just that motivation. Like, after you got a taste of that, did you feel like, man, like I got to get some more?
I did.
Yeah.
I realized that, first of all, it was good money, and then I realized that it was actually something that I could do being from Tennessee. Atlanta wasn't far.
Yeah.
After graduation, I ended up going back to Memphis, and I started taking acting classes from a phenomenal acting teacher, Corey Parker Hash, shout out to him. And, after getting in his classes and learning it was a craft and learning that it wasn't just reading and, memorizing lines, I fell in love.
Yeah.
And 6 months later, I auditioned and submitted to an agency and got signed, and that's when everything started.
Wow. So since that has been happening, when did you first move to Atlanta?
So I've been in Atlanta now 6 years.
6 years.
So
okay.
After graduation, I went back to Memphis for 2 years, and I realized I really wanted to take it serious and be where everything was happening, so I moved here.
Right.
Yeah, and I ended up getting signed to an agency here maybe a year after moving here.
Wow. So do you think that it's a lot of competition out here as far as for black male actors?
It's definitely a lot of competition, but it's a lot of work as well. It's the type of business where you just have to be consistent.
Right.
You never know what they're looking for, so you don't get down on yourself when you don't get a role. You just realize, okay, maybe I wasn't what they were looking for.
Yeah.
Submit to the next project
And go ahead and do the thing. Because
I
I have experience in that. You can't. It's just like applying for jobs.
Exactly.
Either you're gonna get it or you're not.
Exactly.
So, what do you enjoy about acting the most?
I think it's really, really cool to be able to become different people.
Yeah.
You're coming into these different characters. You're bringing them to life, and you get to imagine how another person lives. And for a few days or a few months, you get to be a whole nother person.
Right.
It's like Halloween, but for a role, man. It's dope.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. I feel the same way. I love getting into characters and people not knowing exactly what's going to come from it. You know what I'm saying? So, in your opinion, what's like the hardest part about being an actor?
Man, if I had to touch on the hardest part, it would be hoping that you're bringing the character to life.
Right.
Acting is bringing the emotion, and the casting directors and the casting people, they know how they want it to look.
Exactly.
So, I think the hardest part is just hoping that you're doing it justice how they want it to be.
Right, exactly. So, all together, how many different projects have you been a part of thus far?
Most of my resume is commercial work. Casting directors seem to feel I have a commercial look with the red hair.
I can see it.
They call it racially ambiguous in TV, so they can't tell what race I am. So most of my resume is commercial work, but I've done some dope independent films. I've also had some auditions for some really, really dope stuff recently, man. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Some TV stuff. I got an audition tomorrow with the Marlon Wayans movie.
Oh, wow.
It's coming out called Septuplets. Y'all look out for that. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed. So, yeah, man, I've done some dope stuff.
Definitely. That sounds dope, man. So as far as consistency goes, because we know you have to have consistency in the acting game. Yeah. So what makes you become consistent, or what keeps you consistent?
Man, not to get too deep, but my mom, she was my biggest fan. She knew how much I loved being on TV, how much I wanted to act, and she encouraged me.
Yeah.
And she's transitioned now, but she was my biggest fan, and I want to continue to make her proud from afar, man.
Hey,
So,
man,
doing
that's
it for
dope.
moms.
That's dope. For real,
Definitely,
for real. All right, so what is success to you? Like, I know a lot of people, you can look at that question so many different ways,
Mhm.
but I believe, you know, a lot of times people think money is success, power is success, feeding your family is success, like, or whatever your mental state is. Like,
Right.
do you believe success is a certain thing, or like, what's your
Man,
take on it?
truthfully, my definition of success is waking up every day and loving what you do.
Yeah.
You know, I watched my mom get up at 30 plus years, and she was a teacher, and she was so passionate about going into that classroom teaching those students. And I want to wake up every day and feel that way. You want to wake up and just feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
So I think success is fulfillment.
Yeah, definitely. I can agree with
Not
that.
even just monetary. I mean, don't get me wrong now, money's good.
Right.
But I think honestly, everybody wants to feel fulfilled, want to feel like they're making an impact.
Exactly. And love what you're doing.
And love what
Because
you're doing,
you could
man.
be at a job making $100K a year,
And-
right?
and be unhappy.
And be unhappy. So
Exactly.
I feel the same way, man.
Exactly.
You know, so but you gotta have money, like you said. Don't get that
We need the
twisted.
money
We
now.
need the money, definitely. So what, as far as the media world, like how did you start, you know, because I know you've been actually working the BET Awards
yeah.
and on different sets of movies, like, you
Right.
know, all that stuff. So how did you get into that?
So yeah, like I said, I was a mass communications major at Middle Tennessee State, electronic media production. We had a lot of professors who were actual real producers of
Right.
shows. And the first show I ever worked was one of my professors. He was over the Country Music Awards in Nashville.
Wow.
So that was the first show I worked. And then I was fortunate to get an awards internship through BET.
Yeah.
And that's how I started working with BET.
Oh.
And once I graduated, they started inviting me out to work, and I started getting paid.
Wow.
And just through my connections with BET, I started working Trumpet Awards and various other awards and productions. And, you know, it's all about networking.
Yeah,
And I met a
definitely.
lot of good people who looked out for me and would continue to call me each year for different shows. And I just looked at it as another way of making income, as well as another passion of mine, working production.
Right. I'm telling you, like, when you work in the production field, it's
Yeah.
so much work you got to do.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize that, but you know, I love to see something start from the beginning and see the end result, the post-production of it. Like, that's also another thing that I'm really passionate about.
Right, definitely.
Yeah.
Name your top 5 movies.
Ooh, my top 5 movies. I gotta take it back.
Yeah.
So as a child, I was a really, really big fan of this movie, Sister Act 2.
Of course.
The
of
GOAT,
course.
Whoopi Goldberg,
Right,
man.
right.
That
Good old
man,
Whoopi.
that was always one of my favorite movies as a child. What else do I really like? I really like the movie The Color Purple, another Whoopi Goldberg movie. I think that movie just has so many hidden gems and messages that you would just miss when you were young, and then you go back and watch it as an adult, and you're like, wow.
Right.
Man, what other movies do I really, really like?
I know it's hard because there's so many different movies. When people
out there,
ask me the
man.
same thing, I just be like, man, it's hard to
All
try
of
to condense on
Denzel's,
everything.
man,
Yeah.
catalog of movies, man. I don't think there's been a Denzel movie I didn't like.
So as an actor, what is a role that you haven't got yet that you dream to get eventually?
Man,
one
so
day?
many, man. I would love to be a reoccurring character on maybe a show, or even be a part of a big franchise, man. Like the movie The Purge that just came out. One of my Fred brothers was a part of that,
Yeah.
and I went to see that movie. I would love to be in like a thriller,
Yeah.
horror type movie like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I love TV, but movies, man, is also something I really hope to get into.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. So I have a scenario.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm an aspiring actor trying to get into film, trying to get into production and everything like that. What advice would you give to someone who's searching for that?
Man, the advice I would give you would be, first, make sure it's something you really want to do. Go audit an acting class. And auditing means basically you're going to just sit in on the class and kind of see what, you know,
Right.
they got going on. They have monologue classes. They have audition technique classes. And go sit in on the class and just make sure it's something you're passionate about. Make
Right.
sure, because I think a lot of people have a misconception. Like I said, they think it's just learning lines.
Yeah.
Make sure it's something you're passionate about. If it is, enroll in those classes. Start to take those classes. Also, take you some headshots. Get you a photographer, take you some headshots. You can research on what's the appropriate way to take a headshot, commercial, theatrical. And then once you feel comfortable enough, start submitting yourself. We have free websites out here that you don't have to be, you know, represented by an agent or anything.
That's right.
And you can submit yourself
Mhm.
and start doing extra work. Don't sleep on extra work.
Yeah.
Every actor does background work, and it gives you the experience on set
Right.
to see how long the hours are and
Yeah.
how much you got to retake stuff and do it.
Shows if you really want to do it.
When I
Which is
first
all
moved to
about.
Atlanta, I did so much extra work, and that experience on set taught me so much.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. 'Cause I know you've done some
Projects.
independent films.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, where can we see all that?
I
stuff?
do have a short film that's on YouTube. It's called Truth Be Told. We filmed that last year.
Mhm.
So, you guys want to check that out? Just go to YouTube, type in Truth Be Told, and I got some stuff on my Instagram page as well. Ryan.James.
James. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what's up. So, any other thing that you want to throw out there before we wrap this thing up?
Man, I just want to tell everybody, because I have a lot of people who support me from afar and all over the place that I've never met, and I really do appreciate it. And just,
Yeah.
man, y'all keep praying for your boy. You keep supporting your boy, because I got some stuff coming up, man.
Hey man, that's what's up. You know how the bros do it. You
How
know,
we
we
do.
always gotta represent,
How
you know
we
what I'm
do.
saying? So this has been this interview of ResView. If you're an aspiring actor, actress, director, all that stuff, chase your dreams. We have people on the
Chase your
show that
dreams.
are actually doing the same thing that you're doing, and you can do what we're doing as well. I'm Jay Red, this is Ryan James. You already know where to find me at. Make sure you subscribe to the official YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/We Authentic Network. Hit that alert button so you can get all the alerts from anything that I put out. But that's ResView. We signing out.
Same
Yeah.
old shit, just a different day. I'm clocking in and clocking out to keep the bills paid. At this 9 to 5 temporarily. If you not trying to live your dream, we are not the same. Same old shit, just a different day. I'm clocking in and clocking out to keep the bills paid. At this 9 to 5 temporarily. If you not trying to live your dream, we are not the same. Oh no, we are not the same. We don't have the same thought patterns. I'm trying to fly up to the sky while you climb the ladder. I'm on a different path while you staying in your lane. Instead of buying a ticket, I'd rather be on stage. You rather follow procedures while I would take a chance. I'd rather find out for myself than wondering what if. You rather have a salary with 401k.